Hello, good afternoon. I am Jamie Buckland with the West Virginia Pew Families United for Education, and I am trying to get a deadline. My bangs are driving me crazy. I have like 5 minutes to give you guys some updated information on a couple of things on WVSSAC and on the Hope Scholarship. And these are two pretty important details. And so hopefully this will reach the masses. If you are not receiving updates from the West Virginia Pew, if you've not subscribed to our updates, you're not going to get this update because I'm not putting it out on social media. So like in a written form. So the reality is like I'm doing a lot and we are not funded. And so we are just having to put some parameters around our work. So an email update just went out regarding public comment for WVSSAC. And I put a link to the public comment that I am making and submitting on behalf of the organization. And you can see what changes are going to, or what changes I'm suggesting need to be made to the code. So I'm not going to go into detail about what you may or may not be able to do because until the board meets on July 12th, we're not going to know exactly what those requirements are for families who are navigating WVSSAC access. So I will tell you this. You need to have, if a child is homeschooled, Hope Scholarship, IIP, or microschool or learning pod, things you can do that you want to get done. They need to have taken a standardized test. They need scores within or above the fourth state 9 in each of those 5 subjects. There is a push right now to ask the WVSSAC to interpret the code that it should be the average of those 5 subjects within or above the fourth state 9 instead of requiring it for each. I don't have any more information other than there is a push to get the WVSSAC to interpret that differently and allow students to have an average score of within or above fourth state 9 versus in each of those subjects. So we'll keep you posted when we know more information on that. Again, it will be the middle of July before we have any of that information. So they should test, they should complete a physical. And I link to that in the update. So if you're getting our emails, you'll get that. The other thing is the public comment. The deadline for public comment is June the 12th, so next week. And so if you want to read more about that, again, all of that information is in the update. Here's what you need to understand. I am unable to offer individual guidance regarding the WVSSAC until further notice. So basically I have, I don't know, over 100 of you that have been emailing and reaching out regarding WVSSAC guidance. Until the board has met in July and we have direction, and even at that time, I don't know that I'll be able to offer individual guidance because we don't have funding. I'm unable to hire help right now, and it's just our reality. So it is very likely that you'll just be dealing directly with your athletic director at this point until we figure out how to fund our organization. So just do not expect individual guidance from me until July 12th. And then an update will come out. And if at that time we're in a position that I can begin offering navigational guidance again, for those of you pursuing WVSSAC access, I'll try my best to do it. At this time, we're unable to. So an email update will go out, not on July 12th. That's when the meeting is. So probably the week following July 12th, an email update will come out from us. Outside of that, you're going to have to rely on the update that I just sent out. If you didn't get it, you can get it by filling out our intake form. So I'm going to drop a link to that. And once you have filled out that intake form tomorrow, I'll go in and make sure you're added to receive that update. And until we get funding, that's just going to be, unfortunately, what it is. Lastly, before I wrap up, there's a Hope Scholarship update that's not very fun to share. Earlier this year, our organization was working on identifying which test satisfied the requirements for the Hope Scholarship to ensure that every child's scholarship was renewed for the next year because they would satisfy the criteria. If your student is under the individualized instructional program for the Hope Scholarship and you tested, some of the tests do not test in science or social studies in kindergarten and some of them in first and second grades. If you submitted test scores to your county that did not have science and social studies, I got official word back from the Department of Education just a few minutes ago, they may be rejected by the county as not satisfying the legal requirement. So I'll say that again. If you tested your child in kindergarten, possibly first or second grade, with a test that did not assess them in science or social studies, and it only assessed them in math and language and reading, then, and you submitted those test scores to satisfy the criteria for their assessment, then the county may reject that. So what do? Again, our organization is not in a position to help the number of people that this may affect. And so I'll direct you to Hope Scholarship, WV, at WVSTO.com. That is where you'll need to go for further clarification and information. Again, that's pertaining to students who used a test. If you did a portfolio review, hopefully you used a review form that had a space for science and social studies, and that would satisfy it. But if your child was tested and they did not test in science or social studies, you're going to want to reach out to Hope Scholarship, to the team at the Treasurer's Office to find out what your next steps are. So at this point, that's the SSAC update. That's the Hope Scholarship update that I have. I will drop a link in the comments for our intake form so that if you're wanting that specific information that we've made available, you can sign up to receive it. We have a fundraising campaign going right now. If the information that we provide is helpful, if the guidance that we provide is helpful, it's going to be up to the families and the providers of West Virginia to fund our organization in order to provide that information to you. That's all that I've got. And I'm going to hopefully be able to respond to emails tomorrow. So if you have email questions, for further clarification, you're welcome to email Jamie at wvfue.org. Just keep in mind that individual guidance is not going to be something that we're going to be able to offer readily. It's not going to be readily available. So that's what I've got, and submit the intake form to get that email tomorrow. Thanks so much.